Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of cooking or baking. We're making something today that I haven't made for my family in like 2 years since we moved into this house. So I'm super excited to do it. I'm making my from scratch cinnamon roll, homemade cinnamon roll. So I'm excited to do it. I'm going to walk you through what I do, some of the instruments and tools that I use to make the cinnamon rolls. The first time I ever made these, I was making them like regularly because like this was Cork and Ivy's go-to breakfast of choice, and like they would just gobble these things down. They're not healthy at all, I'm telling you that now, but they're so delicious. I'm excited to make you for you today. Let's go through and see what's in the recipe. Okay guys, this recipe is broken down into 3 parts. You have the dough making phase, the filling phase, and the icing phase. So the ingredients you're going to use, and once we get in depth and we're going through it, I'll tell you what the measurements are for anything, but you're going to need bread flour, not just regular flour, bread flour. I use a bread machine. These things are amazing. I highly recommend one. I'll link to the description down below for the one that I have. You're going to need bread machine yeast, margarine, eggs at room temperature, salt, and sugar. And that's the dough phase. And the reason why you're seeing so many eggs here is in multiple batches of things, because every time I make these, I tend to make 2 batches because my kids eat these like crazy people and I just can't make them fast enough. So if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna go big just to start. Second phase that you're gonna have is you're gonna have the filling phase, consists of ground cinnamon, brown sugar, and butter. And the last phase, you're gonna have the icing, which consists of butter, powdered sugar, vanilla extract, and cream cheese. All right, so let's get started with the first step, and that's gonna be making our dough. First thing you're gonna need a cup of warm milk, 2 eggs at room temperature, 1/3 cup of margarine melted, 4.5 cups of bread flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, a half a cup of white sugar, and 2.5 teaspoons of bread machine yeast. Okay, so now that we got the bread maker going, so I apologize if it gets loud occasionally, it stirs up, it gets real loud. Then I put together my the filling, which is gonna be the brown sugar and the cinnamon. So you're gonna need 2.5 tablespoons of the cinnamon and a cup of packed brown sugar. And so you may ask, like, well, why do you do 2 batches at a time? It's not just because my kids are super greedy. It's, and I'm greedy too, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's also the fact that the bread maker stage, it takes 1.5 hours. So I'm like, well, if I'm sitting here, I might as well do a second batch. So what I do is I prep a whole nother side for the ingredients. I already have it measured out and individual containers, so I can pour that right into the bread maker. So yeah, like I said, it's, it can be kind of messy. One of the fortunate things of like having a bigger workspace in our old house, I had to pour it out, all this flour and stuff all over our dining room table, and that was another mess to clean up. But now we have this nice, huge island that me and my wife agreed on when we were building the house. So that's helped a lot with this process. And so what we're also gonna do while I'm packing the sugar, in this whole process, I've been letting this butter sit out so it can soften, because what you're actually gonna do is when you lay the dough out, you're going to, spread the butter and you're gonna sprinkle your mixture together. It's a clump, a little messy, but I'm fine with that. So we got a packed cup of brown sugar. Get it all out of there. And then, so now we're gonna take our 2.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. So I just opened the jar up because like, anyway, I got time for all that. So 1, 2. And I could get a half a tablespoon, but I'm so used to the recipe at this point. I'm like, yeah, I can kind of eyeball it from the scoop. That's plenty. So another helpful tip while you're doing this is I clean as I go, because when I'm done spending 3 hours, you know, in this entire process, I don't want to be cleaning dishes at the end. I want to be enjoying the cinnamon rolls once they cool down some. So yeah, so I got my concoction here, and then literally all you're gonna do is, what I recommend getting a fork to like mash it up and get it in there real good so the brown sugar and the cinnamon mixes well together. All right, so give me just a moment. I'll get this done and we'll be right back. Okay, so once the bread maker stops, you'll want to let it sit about, you know, like 10 minutes. Let it double in size from where it stops at, so that the dough has had time to rise. And then before you turn it out onto your surface that you're gonna be working at, you're gonna put down some flour so that it doesn't stick when you're rolling the dough out. So just get a little bit of flour where it's gonna go. And that's gonna help out tremendously, so without it sticking and you having to roll it. Alright, that should be good enough. This off to the side. Let's get into our bread maker here. Oh yeah, that dough has risen. So we're gonna get this up out of here. Turn it out onto. Alright, so we'll let that sit for a little bit. I'm gonna finish grinding out. I found like a couple more lumps in my filling for my cinnamon and my brown sugar. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those taken care of. What we'll do, we'll let this sit for about 10 minutes and we'll come back to it and we'll start rolling it out. Okay everybody, we're back. We've given the dough 10 minutes or so to set and to rise a little bit more. So like I did already before, I sprinkled out my flour so my dough doesn't stick. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit more flour on top of the dough. That way when I'm rolling it, it doesn't stick to the roller. And as well as I'm gonna rub some on my roller as well to help with the stickiness. Because like, if you've done this before, as many times I have, that gets annoying real fast when the dough is like, as you're rolling, it's rolling up on the roller as well. It's probably still gonna stick some, but that's okay. But at least I'm doing what I can to minimize that. And having this extra flour on here is not gonna do anything. It's not gonna change the flavor or taste, so you don't have to worry about that. So what you want to do is I keep a little measuring thing. I'm such a nerd about it. Is I keep my little measuring thing here, and it says like you're gonna roll this out to a 16 by 21 rectangle. So we're gonna work that dough. See, that's paying off good. That I did not forego. Putting that flour out there. Get you a nice roll. Before I try to put it into a rectangle, I just try to like flatten it out evenly as much as possible. So it's hilarious. Like while I was taking a break, my daughter's like, "Why can't we have the cinnamon rolls yet?" Daddy. I'm like, oh my God. So I don't know who snitched and told them that I was making these. I don't know if it was my wife or not, but it's supposed to be a surprise, so that way I'm not under so much pressure. But they're gonna love them regardless, because like this is a really hard recipe to mess up. Like if I can do it, I know you can do it too. So let's take a quick measure and see where we're at. Okay, let's see. Lengthwise, I am right where I need to be. Lengthwise, let's see. Height-wise, I may be a little large. No, I'm good. So what I'll do now, just kind of shape it up a little bit. Just use your hands, shape it. It's fine, just dough ain't going nowhere. But just try to get as best you can. It ain't gotta be a perfect rectangle, you know. You just wanna get it as close as possible, so that it is easy when you're spreading your butter onto it and putting your filling on it. What you're gonna do, you're gonna take a third of a stick of butter, but I do it based on, you know, just getting an even spread. So it takes about a third of a stick of butter, but you know, if you want to be healthier, I guess you can use less and make it a little bit thinner, but it's not gonna have the same gooey middle that you kind of want when you're doing cinnamon rolls. So I recommend just, you know, getting a nice coat on there so that the cinnamon and sugar really stick to the dough. So this butter that you're using should have been sitting out the entire time, so it's nice and soft and easy to spread. If you didn't do that, that's okay. That's what they have microwaves for. Now, what I will tell you, if you're going to use a microwave, you better be watching what you're doing because it will turn liquid very fast. I would say no more than like 8 seconds if you're gonna microwave it. But yeah, so I'm just gonna spread this on here, nice and it's a nice little layer there. So I'll get this finished and I'll be right back with you guys, and then we'll put our filling, the rest of our filling, which is going to be the brown sugar and the cinnamon. So we got our butter spread out throughout the dough, and next we're going to do, we're going to take our filling, our brown sugar, and our cinnamon that we already have previously prepared, and we're just going to get a good coating around all the dough. So don't be afraid to use this. It's okay, that's why you have it out there for. If you have extra, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it should come out to roughly, you should be using the whole amount that you have here. I just try to start off getting pretty even with it. So we get it done there. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and start and just roll our dough up. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna take the short side and you're gonna roll it down along the length. That way that you're getting plenty of rolls in there to make that nice swirly center. So you just take that little bit right there, you tuck it tight, and you start rolling. So until you get like to the other edge, like I said before, it's not a perfect rectangle. You do what you can. You gotta kind of be going back and forth until it's even. I like to keep mine tight because I like that nice tight ring. I don't want them falling apart when I'm eating them. I want them to maintain their consistency when I cut them. So I make sure I roll mine pretty tight. You don't have to, but you know, just another tip that I'm giving out to you. Now this recipe says it makes 12 rolls. I have never seen that happen. I've always had more than what I need to have, and so I'll usually have more than 12 rolls, and I'll stack them into my casserole dish. So I got it nice and firm here. I'm gonna pick it up and we'll turn it around back towards you guys. So you can use any kind of cooking tray that's non-stick, because you want those puppies to come rolling out of there. They'll already have that butter. It's gonna help a lot, but you know, never hurts to put a little extra, so that's what I did. Okay, so now that we got our dough rolled, got a pan sprayed, you go ahead and take our, you know, typically you have a bread knife. Apparently I misplaced mine at this time. So you're gonna take a knife, a serrated knife works the best, that way you can kind of saw back and forth. And so I start off in the middle, because that's where my biggest rolls are gonna be at, in the middle, and I work my way inside out. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut it right in half. Nice even strokes back and forth. There we go. And then from there, I'll cut it in half again on both sides. Yeah. There we go. Same thing, and just repeat on the other side. So we got our dough cut now. And you can see, like I said, this produces so much more than what they say. They say it produces 12, like I said. I don't make them that big because, like I said, they rise anyway. And as far as like a serving, that's a lot because it expands, and you know, you don't want it to waste them. You know, you want to make sure you're able to finish one. So that's why I cut them up more. Because so what do we end up with? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And I could have got a little tiny more, but I want to make sure they fit in my pan because I'm making 2 batches and I need something to house them in. So yeah, so we will go ahead and start placing these in. Didn't cut that all the way through. That's okay. We just line them in there, nice and neat. That's another thing about keeping them tight when you're rolling them, so they don't unravel as you're like place them into your casserole dish. Right. Good. Perfect. Okay, so now that we got our cinnamon rolls into our casserole dish, we go ahead and pop those babies in the oven. You want to cook these for about 15 minutes or until they're golden brown. Okay, so we got our cinnamon rolls in the oven, so what we need to do next is move on and getting our, making our icing made from scratch. So what you're gonna need, you're gonna need a 1/4 cup of butter, a 1.5 cups of confectioners sugar, so powdered sugar, and you're gonna need 3 ounces of cream cheese. And it's so helpful that they label what slices an ounce, so I've already pre-cut that for myself. And you're gonna need some vanilla extract and a pinch of salt. So, and you're gonna need milk to move to consistency. So let me grab the milk. Okay, so got my milk, I'm ready to go. So like I said, got the butter in. We're gonna need a 1.5 cups of the confectioner's sugar. You know, that's close enough. Don't have to be perfect. Yeah, 1/2 teaspoon of the vanilla extract. I just have 1/4 of a teaspoon, so I'm gonna use 2 of those. Just 1 and 2. All right. Don't want to knock this over. That would be a travesty. We're gonna dump our cream cheese in. That out in there. So you would have wanted to have this cream cheese sitting out as well, so it's nice and softened for you. Alright, so what I highly recommend before you even start mixing, because you have this powdered sugar in here, is go ahead and put some milk in here, because as soon as you hit that, if you use the hand mixer, as soon as you hit that, powdered sugar is going to be everywhere. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour a little milk on here just to start, because we're going to need milk, because you want to be able to spread this out some. You don't want it like runny. You want to be able to spread it over the cinnamon rolls. Man, you can smell them already. They are smelling amazing right now. It's a fly. As you can see, those things really rose and they took up that pan. That's what I said. When they make those big ones, they went up and they went out. So they completely filled my bowl. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and, while they're still warm, still hot, you go ahead and put that icing so it melts and gets down to all those crevices. So I got a nice little spatula here that I'm using here. Help me get all the icing out. and apply a nice thick spread.
It smells better over there than it does over here.
Oh man, I wish you guys could smell these things. They smell freaking amazing. And that icing going on, and you can still hear that butter just sizzling underneath there. That's that good. You got just a little tiny bit of crunch on the outside, the way I like them. And you have that nice gooey center on the inside. And so some people are like, oh, that's too much icing. Oh, we're gonna use every bit of this icing that we made because I want that down in every crevice. And another reason why I use this spatula here is I can push the icing down on the sides, make sure I'm getting on the side of the cinnamon rolls as well. That way, when I pull them out here, there's icing touching every bit of that thing, and the kids and us adults, we love them too. Okay, we got our icing put on, and they look amazing. They are fantastic. I wish you guys could smell these. We'll go ahead and get the kids down here and get them served up. All right, let's get the family on here. Family! All right, come on, mommy. Let's get you some cinnamon rolls in here. Mommy, will you do us the honors of serving us up? Oh, I'm hot, but oh, it's delicious.
Honey, go like this. Like this.
As good as you remember?
There you go.
All right. Well, hey guys, thanks for stopping by. Can't wait to see you guys next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.
Bye. Bye.